You guys, it's Mary.
And Emma.
You much got to like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about Martell Holt's interview. You know, I think we did a video recently about Melody, who she went live and kind of talked about the abuse she kind of went through with Martell and the effects of it. Yeah. Well, he is coming out to defend himself. I thought the interview was kind of interesting.
Yes.
Especially when he decided to sit down there and lie and talk about how, oh, I would totally marry myself. And I'm everything that a woman will want or need. I feel like he has to say that about himself so he can make it seem like, oh, I know I'm not a bad person and I am a great human being. I feel like Martell, it's okay to admit that you have flaws. And Martell, you are not a perfect human being, not even by a long shot. Yeah. Okay, and it's okay. And it's also okay to admit that you effed up the marriage.
Yeah.
That's also okay. You cannot tell me that in good conscience that because Melody did not give you fellatio, that, oh, that's why you decided to cheat. I'm sure you knew that that's not what she wanted to do when you were with her all throughout college. Yeah. So if that's not what she wanted or you desired in a marriage where you get no fellatio, then maybe you should have never married her. You should have left her the hell alone. That way she would not be here scarred. Having emotional scars. Yeah. So I felt like him.
And when you're cheating constantly,
like we both should have done something different.
I don't think she feels the need to be with you.
Why? When I don't know what your weenie is. Like I mean, like I'm not going to be having sex with you and getting crabs or chlamydia or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you're using protection
around my mouth or something because.
You decided that you don't want to be using protection. And my thing is, you were out in the streets during COVID, where everybody's black behind was in the home. Well, not everybody who was black was at home, but y'all know what I mean. Like, you should have been home. Yeah. Like, if anything, like during COVID, but you decided to go out to the gym during COVID instead of staying your black behind in the house. Where do you do that at?
In Martell's head.
Like, that whole thing did not really make sense. And, I actually feel really horrible for Sheree because, I just personally think
Lord,
that...
when he let it be known.
My next woman, hopefully she'll be my wife. We're both single. It sounds like some Young Miami and Carisha type crap.
I know. How weird. Anytime a man starts telling you how we're too old to have a label,
I think,
you better run. Because he's not taking you seriously at all. Because guess what? The woman he really was, he will give her a label. He will let her know exactly who she is to him. Because he don't want her going nowhere.
I think the older you get, the more you should have labels. Because my thing is, you don't really have time you don't have time to waste with somebody.
You have this person
you're all grown. So why wouldn't you have a mature conversation and say, look, we're single, we'll go on some dates here and there, but I am having sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Jane and Shane. And if you want to come and join the pots of who else I'm sleeping with on my roster, then we can do that. But I'm not going to be out here claiming you, and I'm definitely not going to bring you out here on my show if you are just some F buddy. I'm not doing that. But have a conversation. You're old enough. You're old as hell. You should go and have a conversation about what you are and not be leading this woman astray. Now you sitting down here on this TV show, the next woman I get with, hopefully she'll be my wife.
Embarrassing.
Sheree,
and I'm
please
sorry,
stop dating
Sheree actually thought that this man was her boo. That's what she thought. She thought that's what they were called.
Of course. The way she has been capping for Mr. Community Weenie.
So the fact that he came out and said this.
We ain't together. We ain't together.
Lord have mercy. I don't know how she feels this morning. I will feel like
crap. Actually, they're talking about how
I was led astray, bamboozled.
Well, actually, they're talking about how he has big weenie energy and all this butter.
Please.
I just felt like, ugh.
I know. But that's why, it was very, very cringe.
I felt bad.
Yeah. And even though he kept on saying, I don't want to, say some things about Mel, he kept on dropping her stuff in there. You know what was very interesting? And this happens a lot of times, I think, when you've been with someone for so long. Like over 10 years you've been with someone, it's hard because I find that even when she was asking him about himself, he started off with him and Mel.
It's like that's where his identity rested. It rested in that relationship.
Really rests in that, And then she had to kind of guide him to say, hey, how were you? Do you have siblings?
Yeah.
who are you, that kind of stuff. So
But I
that
didn't know
was
that he
interesting
even had
to see.
siblings or anything.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't think she needs to spend 30 minutes on his favorite food because I really didn't give a damn. But I felt like she could.
And then the other thing, when she was trying to like, well, at least give me the credit for being fair. I mean, let me tell you, Queen. This man,
Queen.
I think her name is, her channel is Queen
Oh,
something.
okay.
But Martel is not going to think any woman is being fair to him.
Because at the end of the day, you're a woman, and a woman just
Except
left
for
him.
his mama, probably.
I mean,
but
even
he's not gonna think that any woman is going to be fair to him. So you can try, and that's why it took him a good almost 10 minutes to give you any kind of, oh yeah,
well,
I
after
feel
you
like,
stopped hounding him, then he gave her credit.
yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, you were fair, but he's not gonna think you're being fair to him.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that you said maybe at least a couple of times how Melody is not talking about you, okay? Pretty much let him know she ain't thinking about you. You're not in her thought process. That was going to not end well.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But I thought that she was a good interviewer. Maybe stayed on some topics that, you know.
I mean,
the whole Ariane thing, you were not going to get him to kind of, like, you saying, well, you know, maybe you should have let your baby mama know not to speak on XYZ. I'm sorry. When you are a mistress, and which Ariane was, and now the wife finally knows, and it's all out there, and then the man done left you now
but the
because
thing
he
is,
don't
Melody
got to hide no
always knew
more.
about Ariane, like even before the show, like she
Right.
knew, but I guess she didn't know they were still seeing each other. At least
Well,
she was
the thing
hoping
is,
that
now
they
the
weren't.
thing is over. Like,
Yeah.
him and Ariane is over. So, Martel does not, you know, just being fair, he does not have any control over Ariane no more.
No.
Because you've left me, and I'm pregnant with your child, and now I'm a baby mama. So, F you. Like, I'm going to say what I got to say. Yeah, if I want to curse her out, I will. She say something about social media, I'll be right back. I mean, so, you going back and forth with Martel. Well, Martel, do you think you could have checked her? He can't check her no more. They're no longer together. It's over. Our relationship is over. You mean you ain't marrying me after now you are no longer with your wife? You mean that was a lie? She is pissed.
And it might be also Martell talking about how, oh, you know, Ariane should have come on the show. I seriously doubt he even lifted one eyebrow to call Carlos and say, hey, Ariana should have a spot on the show.
You know something?
After he called her peasant, you think he wanted that peasant on the show to defend herself?
The only reason Martel won that woman on that show is to irate Mel. Who's that door? The wasp. I don't want it to go in there. The only reason Martel won that woman on that show is to drive Melody crazy.
Halfway
you won that woman on Melody's job? I don't think so. Melody is not going for that. She gonna let them know. You want me on the show? Do not bring Ariane because I'll be out of here.
Real quick.
You're not gonna
and she
have
just waited
someone
for
harassing me on my job. You done lost your mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even think, I definitely don't think Martell actually wanted her to come at all.
But you know something? Let's talk about the abuse that he kept on trying to say, like, oh, you know, you can influence any child to say X, Y, Z. I'm sorry. I cannot influence my children, even when they were younger, to go say my daddy abused me if the daddy did not abuse them. And
I feel
she
like
said
you
that
can...
the son said...
What son?
His son.
His son said what?
Said that he abused him 25 times.
Who?
Martel's son.
Which son? Well, the mistress?
No, because that's the youngest child. So it has to be the older son. That's what I'm thinking. It can't be the little one.
I'm sorry. You can't
influence
a child. You can't.
Influence a child to go into court to say in a court document that my father abused me 25 times.
I feel like if you have, because I have seen this on a lot of murder shows and stuff. I've seen it on several different cases where, you know, sometimes a parent would try to influence a child or whatever. I mean, eventually it will come out, but you actually can't train them to say that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you keep on, like, ringing it in their head and if they're very young and they don't really have a sense of what I'm really saying. But I feel like it really depends on the age. I don't know how old he is. Like, if he's an older child, like maybe
10 years old.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I
but if it's a younger child, like maybe like
5,
6 below, you definitely could, because they'll just repeat what mommy's saying.
And above, that child, they they will tell on you. They will tell on you that, oh yeah, mommy said,
Why just
like, but the child saying that. So I'm just wondering, and he kept on. He said something like, "I have never hurt my child." Listen, there are parents who discipline their child. Some parents discipline their child physically. Like, just be honest. I disciplined my child. I spanked them. If you want to say, well, I don't spank them anymore, or something, you can say that. But just be honest about the thing.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing when it comes to divorce. Sometimes people want to kind of lie so that someone can be on their side. Just say what it was.
Yeah.
And let us just make the decision. But the way he was talking, I just found him not to be honest.
So you think he abused the child?
What I feel? I feel maybe he disciplined the child. That's what I think.
Why would a child go say that you abused them? Because that's a strong word.
Because these days, if you spank a child, they say it's abuse. These days you have to do
Soft parenting.
timeout. You have to do timeouts. It's timeouts time now. You can't spank a child no more with anything. And I think times have changed. They have more different ways of parenting now. Parents are being taught how to parent. Parents have a lot of tools that they can use now.
Yeah.
That they know to use to say, okay, I shouldn't spank my child. Let me not spank my child. If I had a child today, I probably wouldn't spank them. I didn't spank my children often, actually. I think I can count on one hand how many times I spanked each of the children. Right?
Yeah, I mean...
Like physically.
I mean, each. Like a hand for maybe me and then another hand for Shiba.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Each.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 5 times either. Nor was it 4 times, I don't think either.
I can't remember.
Yeah. It wasn't that many times. We have to think that deep.
I can't remember because it was so long. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm basically a grown woman now.
But I did spank my children. I did spank my kids when they did some really
horrible stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah.
That can harm them or harm somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the time I spanked my kids. When this can actually harm you, it can bring physical harm to you, what you did, then I'll spank my children. But for the stuff like you answer back to me, you act the plumb fool and whatever, I'm not spanking you for that. You can do that all day. You can slam doors. You can do whatever the hell. I'm not going to spank you for stuff like that. But for the times I spank my kids, it's because you're doing some stuff that can bring harm to you. Because there's some stuff you can't take back. There's some missteps you make in life you cannot take back. Or you're bringing harm to somebody else.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. You're going to get spanked for that. And that was my thing.
25 times and they're saying it's abuse?
Yeah. My thing is, the only thing that made me say, that sounds odd, was the child saying 25 times.
Yeah.
How will a child know the actual amount?
Unless it was really traumatizing.
The child is counting. I mean, I don't know. Like, okay,
if it was traumatizing,
Dad has done this. It's traumatizing. Mark number 1. I don't know how you have 25 times. I don't know. But then again, I'm not in this household, so I don't know how traumatizing it was. It may have been, like you said, very traumatizing, and the child maybe has been counting. Maybe it happened so
you
much.
Only count
maybe it happened so much that the mother said, "Hey, start writing it down. How many times?" Or someone told him.
My thing is still, Mel. How are you? Like maybe I guess they're divorced, so she's not really seeing it.
Yeah. But my thing is, if a child says it, a child is above really the age of 5 years old, it's like saying my father abused. Even any child, I'm sorry, any child that's saying that has the language to say that. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna look into it. It wasn't Mel who said it. It was the child that says it. I'm going to look into it.
So the child took him to court?
No, the child took him to court, but it was on the court document that it was the child that said this. So it wasn't her. So that's the only thing. But the only other thing though is the 25 times. I was like, that's really interesting how it was written that way.
That's suspicious.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. When you have these relationships, one thing that I will say that I'm happy about this whole entire thing. One thing I will say that these bugs. One thing I will say that I was happy about this whole entire thing is one thing that he said, which was this: we have to move on. And really, you guys have to move on.
Move on from what?
Just from the he say, she say. Because I'm tired of it too.
I mean, Martell, you brought yourself out here to say what your bota batana still have no damn accountability. So really, you had to come out here and say yo he said. You really didn't.
He had zero accountability.
You admitted to nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the reason why Melody hates you is that you can't actually just confess because you're talking about how great the marriage was.
And
but you keep on talking about how we both could have done stuff. No, you ruined the marriage. You took your weenie out there and you disrespected her.
Yeah,
was telling her to shut the F up all the time.
Yes, you did.
Cheating on her, talking about how she's not sucking your stuff right and all this other bota bata. And I need this and you're not doing that. Like basically putting her down in every single aspect. And then you sit down here, you talk about how great the marriage was, but then on the other flip side, you talk about how we both did things wrong. No, you ruined the marriage.
And the reason why I didn't just jump off a cliff for no reason is because of things maybe she didn't do or whatever. So it's kind of like you're not taking accountability. Like, you went and cheated. Why couldn't you just have stayed in the foxhole with her? And said, how can we somehow make this thing work?
I'm sorry,
but you had to go outside of the home.
Like, y'all know Remy Ma and Pop. Like, that woman went away to jail for 10 years for shooting somebody. Okay. That man stayed loyal. He didn't go nowhere. He didn't? Nowhere. He did not cheat. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Stayed loyal. They stayed married. And they're still together.
Aww,
okay?
So sweet.
Like, it's very capable for a man to actually not cheat. I don't believe that all men are cheaters. And I don't believe that all men need to have multiple women. I think that is a learned behavior that they have indoctrinated people with all through the TV. And it's a way to keep men not treating women right. The women should aspire to marriage, but men should aspire to be hosts.
You're teaching men how not to have self-control. You have to be able to have self-control. You have to be able to control.
And then we excuse them when they go and rape somebody.
In your pants.
Yeah. And control your eyes.
Like, if you don't... Because think about it.
How do you expect a woman to be loyal?
When you go to jail, say you go to jail for 20 years, who are you having sex with?
They allow you to have sex in jail.
Or they allow people to come and have sex with you.
Oh, like your partner or whatever stuff? Yeah, they said they have conjugal visits.
That's for everybody?
For everybody. I think there's a select amount of people. But then also there's people who have sex with other prisoners as well. Like, I remember there was this one woman who actually got pregnant. She was a prison guard. Actually got pregnant by one of the prisoners and all this stuff. I mean, obviously she got fired. I can't even remember where I was learning this information from. I think I was watching some jailbird show. I can't even remember. But I think it was Fatal Attraction because they actually went and shot up the sheriff or whatever because she got fired.
Let's just
I think it was Fatal Attraction. I think.
Can control. Okay.
I'm trying to trace back to the show and be like, how the hell she know this information? I ain't never been to jail before a day in my life. I am an outstanding citizen, okay? The shows I choose to watch. That's it. But that's what I think. So I just feel like men can't control themselves. I feel like we don't give...
you don't give them enough credit to say you should be able to control yourself.
Yeah, but seriously. You're the stronger sex though, but you are too weak to control your weenie, your eyeballs. I mean, that's so stupid. Yeah. You can't be the stronger sex and you can't control this and you can't control this. But you expect women to control this when you've cheated on her maybe 30 times. And you expect me to still be loyal. Anyway.
Well, I wouldn't be with you. I'm not going to go out there cheating on you. But I just wouldn't be with you. It'll be over. And so I can move on with my life.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I think that was everything, right?
I think so. Ooh. Whatever else I had in my brain to say, it's been fried.
Yeah, it went out the window. But I think that was everything with the whole...
You guys, let us know what you think about this whole entire thing.
All right, y'all. It's
Leave
Mary.
the comments, and I'm
We invite you to like,
share.
subscribe.